Hey folks, I'm here with Neil Kaplan. Neil Kaplan, right?
Yeah,
excellent.
as far as I know.
The guy that was behind StarCraft and Transformers.
Wait a second. I just did voices. I don't want you to think I wrote it and drew it and did everything, you know?
He was the voices behind such characters as Optimus Prime. Digimon, I do believe.
Yes, I was Hawkman and all his derivations.
He was one of my favorites.
Oh, thank you. We adore Hawkman. I was also Babel. In season 3, who is Big Black Gentleman. He's one of the creators of the Digimon.
I love it. I love those deep voices. Yes.
Thank you. Well, you see, I wanted to audition for Optimus Prime, and they said no. Well, oddly enough, things ended up working out, so don't worry about it. But I did something which sounded to their ear like Optimus Prime, and so they basically gave me the part because they wanted the Optimus Prime in Robots in Disguise to be reminiscent of Peter Cullen's work.
Nice.
So they didn't want it to sound different. So I purposely was inspired by Peter's work, in the 80s, and really went for that. Now, if you watch this series, you'll see a difference from episode to episode because we had two different directors on that show, one of whom who worked with Peter Cullen in the original series, that was Mike McConaughey.
Yeah.
So he would tend to direct me to be slower, more ponderous, a bit more like Peter. Because when Peter did it, he was inspired by John Wayne.
I see.
So it had a very John Wayne kind of swagger to it. So Michael directed me that way because the character, when we did it, had a face mask. So basically, you could do whatever you wanted because you didn't have to match flaps on the lips. We had another director who didn't work on the original series. His name was Steve Kramer, a wonderful anime director, but he would add words and speed him up, make him younger, a bit more of an action hero. So if you watch Robots in Disguise and you see and you hear a fast-talking Optimus Prime, well, that's a Steve Kramer episode. If he's slower and more ponderous, that would be a Michael McConaughey episode. So yeah, I wasn't necessarily trying to inject something original. I was trying to pay homage to Peter Cullen.
Yeah, transform and roll out. Yeah.
Exactly. There was actually an interesting story about that because I did my very first convention while we were recording the series, and I had done a couple of episodes, and somebody at this convention raised their hand and said, "Will we ever hear Optimus Prime say roll out?" And I said, "Is that a big deal?" And the whole room said, yeah. And I said, "I'll tell you what, from this point forward, every single episode will have me saying roll out. I promise." And from that point forward, in every episode, we worked it in.
Quote.
I wish I could tell you one, to be honest with you, but at this point, it's a series I recorded a decade ago.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
And I haven't seen an episode because they don't sell the DVDs in the U.S.
Really?
Yes, there's a whole rights kerfuffle, okay, because it's split between Disney and Fox, basically. Yeah. So I haven't seen episodes for a decade.
Ouch.
So oddly enough, my favorite that I carried away from the show was something I would do in between takes, which was Optimus Transform! Which is a totally different thing, I know.
Yeah.
Finley. Tychus is an anti-hero in the vein of Harrison Ford, in the vein of Han Solo. With the exception of he's probably 150 pounds heavier and a foot and a half taller. I mean, there's two different things. Obviously, there's an actor going, "Oh, there goes that job."
Yeah.
You know, I had a lot of emotion in that last scene in StarCraft 2, but it wasn't because his demise, it was because of the brilliant writing in that game that led to that emotional climax.
I should put in a spoiler right here. Yeah, go on.
Oh yeah, huh?
My bad.
Yeah, and then of course there was the episode where Hawkman got his head chopped off. You know, that was kind of... You haven't seen that one yet?
Uh-oh.
Lots of things. Really?
Like,
two games that I can tell you that I've worked on: Guild Wars 2 and Star Wars: The Old Republic. Yeah. So I played probably about 10 characters on Old Republic, including one of the main sidekicks.
I see.
So,
I'm a follower. I am a big fan.
So did you play Knights of the Old Republic?
I did indeed. I'm a big.
Okay. You may have heard me as a Wookiee.
A Wookiee.
Yes, among many other things. I was a Hutt. I was a Wookiee. I was a Tusken Raider. Lots of different things, and of course I also worked on Battlegrounds too. So.
Cool. Battlegrounds. I remember that one too. Would it be alright if we heard some Wookiee action? That was legendary.
I'm no Fred Tatasciore, but I'm okay.
Yeah, we're here with the Optimus Prime, the StarCraft guy,
and Optimus Prime.
and Optimus Prime.
And one of us. I mean, there are only 4 in a planet of 6 billion. I'll take one of 4.
One of 4 is fine. Anyway, this is General Legendary and Neil Kaplan, right? Oh, thank God.
You got that one right.
Signing off. See you later.